I'm Brenda.
And I'm Christy. We're two friends from high school who are connecting and reconnecting over music and memories.
Welcome to Normal Bias Podcast.
We're glad you're here.
Okay. Hey, y'all. Hey, Normal Biasers. Welcome back to an episode of Normal Bias Podcast. I am Brenda, and my co-host and partner in crime is Christy, and I'm very happy to introduce one of my very dear friends. This girl has been on the sidelines cheering me on since I can remember, and I don't know where I'd be without her. She's a spitfire. She is just a ball of energy that I love so much, all under under 5 feet, right? Like, yeah. she's a fellow short girl. Kathryn Kertz, welcome to the podcast.
Hi. Great to be here.
Oh, yeah. I am so glad that you are here. This is Christy. You know, Christy and I went to high school together. She's actually she's Jennifer Parks Ellis's best friend. From high school. And actually, I met Christy before I met Jennifer and Kevin. But Christy, had been friends with them for a long time. And Christy actually had a big giant crush on Kevin. Yeah.
She says, for years.
Yeah. She says I was the first girl that Kevin liked that she liked. So thank God for that, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe I just knew. So.
Maybe.
Yes, I was explaining that whole thing to my nieces this weekend, and I was like, yeah, he's like the first guy I ever kissed. It's really it could be weird, but it's not weird because it's Kevin. It's just the Parks. It's just Kevin.
Yeah. So anyway, I am so excited to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a little while. I don't know when the last time. Kathryn and I, we'll go several months, and then we'll call each other and do a big giant catch up. But she's always on my mind, and she's always checking in on me, and I love that so much. So how I met Kathryn, Kathryn is married to John, who Kevin met at St. Thomas when they were an undergrad. So, and they were, I guess, 18 when they started at St. Thomas here in Houston. And then I was 18 too. So I met them, the guys. There's four of them, 5 of them. John, JC, Howie, Kevin. I guess 4 of them that are really good friends from St. Thomas. And they've all remained good friends, and now I am friends with their wives. And I can't even remember when, I'm 48 now, the brain. So I don't remember how old we were when y'all met. It's real vague now, but so that's how I know Kathryn. She married John, and John's I consider a brother from another mother, that whole thing. I always tease that he is the boy version of me. He is exactly like me, but a boy, basically.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That I just do, I feel like we think alike, we do things alike, kind of. I don't know. That's just how I feel. I just feel very connected to John in that way. The things he does and says make sense to me. But, so Kathryn is married to John, and that's how I know her. And, in the last 5 or 6 years since Kevin and I broke up, I feel like Kat has just scooped me up and has been Team Brenda and has held me up and has been encouraging me and supporting me and all of those things that a girl does for another girl who is, falling apart. But I just love you. You've always been so positive, and so you can do it. She has this really cute New Orleans accent that you'll hear, I hope. But she's like, you can do anything, Brenda. And I'm like, can I though, Kathryn? She's another person that totally believes in me when I don't believe in myself. And I really thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So John and Kat live in Pearland, Christy. They went to visit.
I say downtown Pearland because we're 5 minutes from City Hall, but we're in Old Pearland, closer to 45.
Okay.
Which I prefer.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like it's the Pearland I know.
Yeah. And it's close to Webster and Baybrook Mall and all of that, and it's built up. It's so built up. The only thing we don't have is a Marshall's.
Really?
On this, like in our little 1 mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a TJ Maxx, so that's really nice.
That's basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And a Ross.
There you go.
I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, that's all the same company. And I was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really?
It is.
That's bamboozling us, right?
They are.
That is really strange. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yeah, so so John and Kat are both physical therapists.
No, John's a physical therapist. I'm an occupational therapist.
Occupational therapist. My bad. An OT and a PT.
Yes.
And they both work at the Veterans Hospital in Houston.
Oh, bless y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes. And yes. So I'm just going to describe Kathryn a little bit really quick. Because then Kat, I'm learning each episode, because I get so excited about talking about my friends and telling you how much I love you and letting everyone know how much I love you, that I don't let you talk about yourself enough.
That's fine.
Yeah, but I feel like there's just so much about your story, about things that since I've known you have happened, that I really would like for you to be able to share a little bit of it. So I'm gonna
pause. I'm gonna do a podcast. No, y'all. I'm gonna turn off my video and I'm gonna eat a taco and listen for a minute, and then I'm gonna turn my video back on because James was like, "Wait, you can't eat dinner." I was like, So I'm listening. I'm here, but I'm gonna eat a taco not on.
I mean, just because it's a taco, I'm allowing it.
I thought you might. I mean, it'll be okay. It's been a day. It's been a great day, but yes. So I am so excited that you're here. And Kathryn, I hope you will explain what an OT is, because people need to know the awesomeness that is your world. People don't even know that they need occupational therapists. And I love what you do. So I'm excited.
Yes, we're like one of the best kept secrets. You don't know you need us until you need us, and then you're like, where have you been my whole life?
Exactly. Most of us needed y'all like when we started writing, or before we started writing, pre-writing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm here.
Well, go ahead and explain that. Explain the difference right now while we're thinking about it. So John is a PT, you're a OT.
Yes. So occupational therapy is amazing because it works in a bunch of different traditional realms and creative realms of healthcare. So we work from birth all the way to past death. So I've worked in pediatrics, and that was fun. I did some learning disabilities, handwriting problems, autism, and I didn't really enjoy working with parents. And where I had done pediatrics, it was in an affluent area, so it was mostly working with nannies and not parents. So it was kind of also peculiar children who were probably starving for attention from their parents. But my love was working with patients who had strokes and brain injury. So I did that for a long time. I've done inpatient, outpatient, adult. You can do acute care, intensive care unit. One of my favorite jobs was at Ben Taub in the intensive care unit. And then because I did ICU there, and then I switched over to outpatient, and I would see some of the people I saw in ICU, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just going to be such a difficult road for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd see them in outpatient, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yay, you survived. Now
Awesome.
I get to work with you again.
Yay.
And then I love working with the veterans. I've done all kinds of things, neat things at the VA, working with mobility, wheelchairs, hand therapy, shoulders, you name it. And then now, last year, I switched over to working in mental health, which I love. I don't think I could have done it coming out of school, but with all of my experience in the physical realm and learning about the mental realm in school, it is such a rewarding population to work with. I just love them to pieces. I work Jerry Psych Unit, which is a lot of dementia, Alzheimer's, and then also acute psychosis, which is really interesting. And it's just people hurting emotionally. So, and then with COVID, a lot of the social isolation and physical isolation is really taking its toll on groups of people who need their support groups to survive. That's all they have. They don't have a lot of friends. They don't have a lot of family. They really do well with that camaraderie. So I just love it.
Oh my gosh.
The time.
I know you do. And then as you're speaking, I'm like in my head just going, wow, you are a gift to these people because you are so positive and so encouraging, but you're just so dang fun. You pull the fun out of people. And I would have never thought with the very, very beginning, you're describing occupational therapy and you said there's a creative realm because you are so crazy creative. And I know that I think you probably pull that out of people. You see the things that they can do. And so you help them figure that out. So
yeah, and part of the occupational therapy is being occupied. So occupied with your hands, with your mind, is what helps with sanity, physical and mental. So we do crafts. So that's fun. Like my coworker is an amazing artist, amateur artist. She does well with the paints. And I'm like, it's too messy. I don't want to clean it up, but I'll do cut and paste stuff. And then my other coworker, she's really great with jewelry making. And she has them making all this beautiful bracelets and necklaces. And so I just ordered some knitting things I want to try with the guys.
Uh-huh.
Have them make their own little winter hats while they're there and see.
That is so fun. Yeah. I love that. So tell me what made you decide to be an OT? What was your undergrad? I don't know that.
My undergrad was in general studies. I was a lost puppy. I started in chemical engineering and I was in honors biology and chemistry in high school. So I was like, okay, chemistry shouldn't be too bad. My freshman college chemistry, I think I made a D. I didn't fail it. I made a D. And I was just devastated. I was like, okay, well, I can't be a chemical engineer if I made a D in chemistry. So then I floated around. I was pre-med, pre-dentistry. And then my roommate's sister said, Kathryn, come home this weekend and I'm going to take you to work with me. I think you'll like what I do.
How cool.
And so I went home. I always went home with Lane, my college roommate, and her dad made the best jambalaya. Oh, never forget that jambalaya. And I went to work with her and I was like, I could do this. She was working with some people who had strokes and working on their fine motor skills. And I remember she had this lady pull in these little pegs out of this resistant putty stuff to work on her pinch strength. And I was like, And they were just talking, you know, the lady was working and they were just talking. And I was like, oh, this is so me. It's so
you.
social. Like, you ask them, where are you from? What do you do? What do you like? And so then I pursued all the prerequisites. I had to go back and take that chemistry class again and aced it.
Nice. But you had a goal.
Yes.
And you were good at it before. Maybe you just, was it a different kind of chemistry? Was it, I guess, the same?
Well, I had ended up going through, like halfway through organic chemistry, trying to be pre-med. So then when I had to go back and retake intro chemistry, I was like, oh, this is a breeze compared to organic.
I love that. What a cool thing. And I love that your friend pulled you in and said, hey, let's come try this. And it is, when you describe that, yeah, it's so perfect. You're so social. I love you. You're a people person. You always connect to people. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do a social skills group at work, and I'm always like, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And they're like, well, what's the difference? I'm like, well, I can't survive without people, and I get my energy from people. Yeah. But introverts, my husband's an introvert. Mm-hmm. He needs his time in his little cave to re-energize. And I'm like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, I do. It's so weird because I think I'm both. I think because I mean, like I've been inside all weekend and it's been amazing. I've been dog sitting, but I've been inside and in my pajamas and just doing things around here. I've hardly talked to anyone. It's been awesome. I love it. But like, I'm excited about this week at work because it's 5 days before Thanksgiving break. And I'm like, oh, it'll be light. It'll be fun. And I'm excited to see my people and just hang out with them at work and all the kids. I love being around people. But after I've been around, it's time to go inside. and then
like I am an extroverted introvert. My energy comes from this like time alone, but I also genuinely love people. So I can speak to thousands of people. I can do all the things and host, but after having people here all weekend, I put our space back the way it was. And then I'm just I've just been in silence for the past couple hours. Noble's been out in the studio. I've been in here working on painting. So yeah, that's how I recharge, was just the silence.
I think the most I can go is 48 hours.
Without people?
Yes. And that's because there's sleep involved.
Oh my gosh. Well, so remind me, so when did you and John meet? Did you meet in school?
Oh no, this is a funny story.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's I tried to remember today, how did they meet? Because I remember kind of he was dating you and he was, starting to kind of, talk about you. And we were like, when do we get to meet her and all that? But I can't remember with the time frame.
I think it was 2001, I think, is when I moved to Houston. Mm-hmm. And I was on a mission because I'm from Louisiana. I was on a mission. I came to Houston to find a job and to find a husband, not a man, not a boyfriend. I didn't want to date around. I wanted a husband.
I like a girl who knows what she wants.
Yes.
I was going to be the soccer mom and all that. So I read this book, How to Meet and Marry Your Soulmate in 1 year or Less. And it said to be like advertising and tell everyone specifically what you're looking for. Like the book, The Secret, you have to tell the universe what you want for it to bring it to you. So I remember I would go to work, and my friend Amy, she remembers this. I'd go into the lounge and I'm like, okay, y'all, I found a job. I'm looking for a husband. They have to have this, this, and this. If you know anybody, don't set me up because I get tongue-tied and nervous and go into shy mode and I can't be set up. So you're going to have to secretly do it. So they listened, and they planned this happy hour, this work happy hour at Little Woodrow's. And he was the only guy there who was not in our direct work group.
Uh-huh.
And so I kind of scoped him out, and he was sitting on the end of the picnic table. You know how they had tables on the outside?
Uh-huh.
And so I went and I sat myself right next to him, and I was just talking. And he remembers he had the flip phone, the new Motorola flip phone, whatever. He's like, I'm just gonna put your number right in my phone here.
So you liked each other, like?
Yeah.
Like,
and then I read another book, and the book said if they really like you, they'll call you within 3 days. And he met that requirement. And then I think we talked every day since.
Aww.
Did he have the qualities on your list?
Yeah. It was amazing.
That is amazing. I need to read that book.
It's not in print anymore. And I don't know why, because it works.
Oh my gosh. Do you still have it?
No, Brenda.
I thought you didn't get rid of anything, Kat.
Uttered that.
Oh my gosh. All I know is when we finally met Kathryn, I was like, yes, John, all day, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, because when Kat walks into her room, you're like, she's that girl. She's super teeny tiny, petite girl, but she has this huge energy, huge personality, and you just can't, like, magnet, like.
I feel bad for some people though that I accidentally corner, and like I want to talk to them all night, and I can tell they're trying to get away to socialize with other people.
So you know
I
they're
know,
trying to get away, but you just carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this has nothing to do. So just a little back. So Kat's an only child, and she has just, you know, when I feel like when something's in your mind, like you're very determined, you know, and you're like, you want to know what you want to know when you want to know it. so she's gonna figure it out, just like the book. And like you said, she just lays it out. This is what I want. This is what I'm gonna do. And Kat does it.
I love that. I love you for that.
I think I've gotten everything I've asked for.
Do you really have?
I'm so spoiled and grateful.
No, you are very grateful, and I don't, not to bash on the only children, but you know, I don't feel like you are like, feel like you don't act spoiled or like entitled or like I get what I want. You're not like that at all. No.
Now from John's side, I do require a lot of attention. Like with the whole organization that he's involved in, I'm like, ugh.
Right.
It's my time.
Are we not talking about the organization? What does he do? Like, what is he? Does he have a hobby or something?
It's a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm. So John and their friend JC and Howard, and then Howard's wife Sasha, they all belong to this organization called Camp Janus, and they it's a camp for kids. I don't know the ages.
It's from 5 years. I think it's 5 years old. 5 or 6 to 17. I think, and it's children who've been burned. And it's usually over Memorial Weekend, so I think it's a 4-day camp. And it's just for them because they have other camps that their siblings can go to, but this one is unique because it's short, it's sweet, it's only them, so they get to make friends with people who've gone through the same thing with being burned and, you know, dealing with other kids in school, and so it's really neat.
It really is neat. It's called Camp Janus, Janus, and they have been involved in it for years. And it's like a year-long process. They have a theme each year. Like one year it was Star Wars, And, you know, they plan this whole weekend for these kids. And it's awesome. I've never been able to be involved in it because it is over Memorial Weekend, and that's our graduations. And it's always been someone's graduation. I've not been able to go or be involved, which makes me so sad. But they've committed years to this. And so that's what Kat's, I guess they have a meeting every week.
No, not every week, every couple months.
Months.
So I feel a little guilty for complaining about it. That's why. That's where my only childness comes out.
Your only childness. Oh my gosh. So John and Kat meet. They get married in this awesome wedding.
Oh yeah, we got married. It was like Katrina happened in August of 2005. We got married in March of 2006. So New Orleans was still recovering from Katrina. And my friend Amy, she was one of my bridesmaids, she was like, we just need to look for places here in Houston. And I was like, I am not getting married in Texas, okay? I already had this place picked out from years, Southern Oaks Plantation. And I already made the arrangements. I was not changing. And she took me to some far out place, I think past Cyprus. I was like, who is going to drive an hour all the way out here to see us get married? So I was calling. I called Southern Oaks. I'm like, are y'all still open for business? What's going on? And they're like, yeah, we're still open. We still have you on the calendar. And when you looked at the satellite pictures after Katrina, this place was the only property that had green around it. And then driving to the place, you saw all the devastation, all the houses with the boards up, and they did a count of if there were any bodies in the house or not. It was really depressing.
It was very depressing.
But then you got to this oasis
in the middle, surrounded by it,
and you would never know that there was a hurricane. Everything was pristine.
It's just for Kat.
Yeah. And so it was beautiful. And I remember the guy, he was like, everything costs a little, like they had a planned menu. You can't pick your food. So if you have a food allergy, too bad. At that time, I don't think New Orleans knew what food allergies were.
They didn't care.
So whatever was on the menu, that's what you got. And then it was extra for the carriage. It was extra for the second line. It was extra for fireworks. It was extra for something else. So I think I had everything. And I was like, I don't need the fireworks because it's in the middle. It's like 3:00. How are you going to see fireworks? And so everything's over. And we said, I do. And these fireworks start going off. And I looked back at the coordinator and said, I did not pay for fireworks. He said, baby, there ain't no fire marshal here. We giving out fireworks.
I love you. I did not pay for the fireworks. I know you said that. And I don't remember what the food was. I just remember that Kat had her like signature cocktail, and it was a peach. Was it a peach Bellini?
It was some kind of peach.
Bellini.
Peach martini. Peach martini.
It was so good.
It was. I need to find that recipe.
Yes, find it. It was so good. It was so much fun. But you're right. I just remember driving to the place, and just like you said, I was like, oh my gosh, look at this place. Like, I can't even believe we're going to a wedding. It was crazy.
Yeah, and all my parents' friends came, and it was kind of like a post-Katrina celebration for them too. And it was so much fun. I wish I could do it again.
Yeah, I wish I could too. Yeah. So how many years? So 2006. That's a lot of math. Oh my gosh, you 15 years in March this year? Wow, that's so cool.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just love you so much. And okay, so I want to talk about this. So 2006, so Kevin and I had already been married. We had Alex. He was born in 2003. And Kat, we I guess we'd been friends, and so you knew that I had gone through some infertility, and there was all those feelings. And at the time, when I'm going through it, it's hard to describe to people the feelings of, because once you get married, your friends start getting married, and then all of a sudden everyone's having babies, and then I wasn't, and that was just really hard. And I'm already an introvert and hide and stay in my house, but when things happened to me, like, I hid, I didn't come around. I wasn't a very good friend, I felt. And sweet Kat, she would call and check on me all the time. And then I had Alex, but then when you and John started wanting to have babies, you had some major infertility issues. And then we had that in common. Like, I knew how you were feeling. And because then you were trying and people around you were having babies, and it's just a lonely place. It's just a lonely place. So will you talk about that a little bit? Like how long it took you and in the process, because I know eventually you did get pregnant with your sweet boys, but you had a doctor here, but then you flew to Chicago and had a specialist that you saw in Chicago that helped you along. So will you talk about that?
Yeah, so I wasn't a very good friend either. And people who could have babies, like they don't understand. Like, it was really hard to see pictures of babies, see pregnant people. Even today, like, people who have easy pregnancies, I'm like, ugh, really?
Yeah. Right. I drank water and he looked at me like, yeah.
But yeah, this girl I grew up with, she's like a cousin to me. She called me out of the blue and she was like, I'm a very private person. I don't know how you are, but I really think you need to see my doctor. I was like, you live in Chicago. What are you talking about? So she gave me all the information. She said, just fill the form out. Just fill the form out. See if you get an appointment. That's all I'm saying. Just do that. I'm like, okay. Because I was at the point of, I did not want to use donor eggs. I did not want to adopt. I was just going to learn French and spend my vacations in France and be married. That was it. And have, I think at that time we had adopted or rescued Piper, our miniature poodle, from my sister-in-law and her kids. And so this doctor, Dr. Kwa Kim, Dr. KK, she is on like cutting edge research of people who have difficulties getting pregnant. And she looks at all kinds of non-traditional blood work. Like, she's not very welcomed in the gynecology world. So she's kind of pioneered this. There's only 3 doctors who do what she does, and in the country. One was in New York. He passed away a year or 2 ago. And then there's one in California, and then she's in Chicago.
Wow.
So I would go and get special testing and ultrasounds. She was ultrasounding a very deep layer of your cervix, your uterus, whatever, to check for blood flow. And then I found a doctor who would work with me and her, because a lot of local people won't help prescribe the medications because it crosses state lines. So he called her and he spoke to her and he's like, look, Kathryn, I don't know about this, but I'm willing to help you get pregnant. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to work with her, but I don't think it's good. And so I was like, okay. And then he helped me find an IVF doctor. I was like, I'm working with this doctor in Chicago. I got this gynecologist here. I'm working with this endocrinologist over here. And he's like, oh, I've heard of her. Yeah, we can do some of her protocol. And I said, okay, that's great. And then I had to get these IVIG infusions every 2 weeks. It was like $1,500 an infusion that you start like before your IVF, and then you continue until Dr. KK sees your results and says, okay, your levels are okay. You're out of the weeds. So it's expensive, and insurance doesn't cover it because I don't have MS. I don't have any kind of like Guillain-Barré, like autoimmune disease. I just can't get pregnant, but I need my killer cells to calm down because it was killing everything. Mm-hmm. And so I did that, and then I did the first transfer, and I think I had 3 eggs. And so they test the eggs, and then they come back to like, okay, well, only 1 is good. So you need to do it again. I was like, again, that's another round of these $1,500 infusions. Mm-hmm. Can we just go with the 1 egg? And he's like, well, I'm going to try you on this other medication and see if we can get more eggs. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I got 2 or 3 more eggs, and only 1 was good. So I got only 2 eggs from 2 different transfers. And when they took the last eggs out, I'm laying on the table, and I hear them tell the lady across from me, oh, ma'am, we got 27 eggs from you. Way to go. And so the lady comes over to me. I'm like, how many eggs did you get? She's like, we got 3.
Yeah.
So then we go in to meet with the IVF doctor, and he's like, I think we should put both of them in. I was like, I'm not looking for twins. I just need 1. And he's like, well, it's only a 20% chance. And he didn't say this, but he kind of alluded to it. Like, you know what? You already having such trouble. Only 1's going to take. You're doing these infusions. Only 1 is going to happen. So I was like, okay, well, this is it. This is it. Everybody put on your prayer hats, pull out your rosaries, light your candles. And so we did the 2, and I remember I was at work, and I was helping a patient practice getting into the tub, out of the tub, onto the toilet, off the toilet, and I got the phone call from the doctor's office, and I sat the patient down. I eased him down on the toilet. I said, you just hold on to this bar right here. I'll be right back. And I just kind of had my hand on him, and I yelled out, I'm like, I need help. Somebody from the clinic was there, and they came like, I need you just to help him get back in the chair, and I'll be right back. And so I went out in the hallway, and the nurse was like, ma'am, your levels are in the thousands. And I was like, what does that mean? She's like, well, 1, you're pregnant. I was like, okay, well, so is that 1 or is that 2? Because I put 2 in. She's like, well, your levels are in the thousands. She's like, and it's only like day whatever. We're thinking it's both of them took. And I was like, are you sure? Do you need more blood? Do you need to check again? She's like, no, we think it's twins. I was like, oh my God. And so I was just like in shock. And John was out of town when I found out. And so I went downstairs, and I called him, and he was checking into his hotel room, and I was like, they said both of them took, so it's twins. I just said it. I didn't say, honey. Hey, they said it's twins. And he was in shock, and he's like, wait a minute. I'm checking into the hotel. Wait a minute. Say that again. I was like, they said it worked, and it's twins. And so then that started the whole staying pregnant journey, and having to go to Chicago and get scanned and make sure there was enough blood flow to keep the eggs alive and make sure everything was progressing. And then doing the infusions again, and I'd do an infusion and then I'd go to work right after, and they had said you shouldn't do that. You should go home and you should rest. And I was like, I don't have any, I need to save up time. So I would go to work, do my infusion in the morning and go to work in the afternoon. And then the doctor in Chicago told me, well, you need to be on bed rest. And I said, well, that's not going to happen because I need to work. And so the nurse practitioner who was working with me, she's like, can you do your job sitting down? And I was like, no, I'm a therapist. I'm hands-on. I'm lifting people. She's like, well, you need to sit down and keep your feet up. So I work with people who need power mobility. So we had all kinds of samples around. And I had talked to my boss. I'm like, I'm supposed to be on light duty. I don't know what you can give me that I can do. And she's like, well, here's some meetings you can go to. And the VA is really big. So my coworker was like, Kathryn, just take this scooter. Just use the scooter. So I would zoom around the hospital with my big old belly, going to meetings. I get to a meeting, prop my feet up on a chair. And I remember I was like, I had this one special patient who I could not give up. And so I worked with him, and the nurse practitioner told me, you can't stand for longer than like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or you'll start to bleed. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I worked with this guy, and as soon as I left his room, I went to the bathroom. I'm like, oh man, I just messed this up. Oh my God. So then I had to call my doctor. I called Chicago, and they're like, you need to go home. You need to put your feet up. And I was like, okay. And every time I would go see my gynecologist, he's like, you really need to be on bed rest. I was like, I can't do bed rest. He's like, okay, well, I need you to drop down to like 3 days a week. I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can figure that out. And then the last day he told me, okay, you either go on bed rest at home starting tomorrow, or I'm going to admit you to the hospital if you're not going to do it, because you need to be on bed rest. You needed to be on bed rest. And I was like, okay, I'll stay home. Can I stay on the couch? He's like, yes. So then the next day I called, and he said, Anna, I need you to check your blood pressure and call me if it's out of range. So I called. The next day I took my blood pressure. I called and I asked the nurse, I'm like, do you remember what he said my blood pressure was supposed to be? And she said, let me check with him. I'll get back with you. And then she came back. She goes, he's going to call you. And so he called me like right away. He's like, Kathryn, I need you to call John, and I need you to get to the hospital now. And I said, well, it's 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Can he come get me at lunchtime? And I could tell the doctor's like, this is non-negotiable. You need to get to the hospital.
So how many weeks were you? Because they came early, right?
Yeah, I was 31 weeks.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to surrender, and I'm going to be in the hospital for the next 7 weeks. So I packed my bag, packed everything. John came, got to the hospital, and then they put all the monitors on me, and it took forever. I'm like, y'all don't know anything yet? Is it okay? Can I go home or get me a room or whatever? So I think my doctor had like just shoved some food in his mouth and ran over, and he was like, I'm working on getting a room for you. You're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And then he came back and he's like, you're going to have these babies tomorrow. And I was like, tomorrow? He's like, probably. I was like, oh no, it'll be fine. He said, well, I'm going to start you on the magnesium drip. I don't know if y'all have had a magnesium drip.
I did with Matt.
Oh, my God. Awful.
Mm-hmm.
That poor nurse. I was hitting the button every hour, and I had to pee in this jug. And I was like, I have a headache. It's the worst headache of my life. I get migraines all the time. This is the worst headache. Can you please call the doctor and see if I can take something? And she was like, ma'am, you have hit the button 5 times in less than 5 minutes. We will be right with you. I work in a hospital. I'm the worst patient. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. This is awful. And then the next day, the doctor came in and he was like, I'm waiting for the high risk doctor to just confirm, but we're taking these babies out at 2:45. And I was like, you're what? He was like, yeah, I start crying. I start freaking out, like full panic mode. John's not there. Because I said, just go home, get some rest. It's going to be fine. And I'm like just shaking and carrying it on. And the doctor turns around. He goes, Kathryn, I need you to stop crying. You're making me nervous. I was terrible patient. But yeah, the boys came and they were fine. And the poor anesthesiologist, he was trying to put the epidural in, and I was freaking out. And he told the nurse, you need to keep her still. She needs to be still. I can't work like this. I can't do this. And the nurse said, she is about to have twins. And she's rubbing my back. She's like, it's going to be okay, honey. It's going to be okay. So I was like, I don't want him in this room if he's going to be ugly like that.
You have always, that is the one thing about you. You just say what's on your mind. You're always kind. You know, you don't like cuss people out. You have kind of a filter, but you don't hold back.
Yeah. And so this other anesthesiologist came in and he's rubbing my arm and putting the IVs in. And he's talking to me about the Pearland Run Club. And I was like, I'm not talking about running right now. I'm about to have twins and I don't even know if I can have them.
Yeah.
And then, I ordered my placenta. I paid like, $500 for them to dry out my placenta and make them into
that's
pills.
right. And I remember
the doctor, he was like, I've never done this before. I don't know what in the world are you getting me into now.
What, Christy?
What did you want them to do with your placenta?
So they save your placenta, and then this doula comes and picks it up, and she dries it out and cooks it down, dries it out, makes pills and lotions and potions, and it's supposed to help with your breast milk production and all the postnatal stuff that happens to your body.
You had capsules, right?
Yeah, I had capsules made. So I'm on the table, like they pulled the babies out. I'm like, don't forget my placenta.
And that's Kathryn Kertz, ladies and gentlemen,
okay.
In a nutshell.
So what year is this that you had the boys?
2015.
Okay, so 2015, you had twins at 31 weeks, and they came out with 0 health problems.
Well, they had, I guess because their lungs were underdeveloped, they were on the breathing monitors and on a heart monitor for 3 months, 4 months.
Mm.
Yeah, but pretty much 0 problems.
And no visual problems to date.
It's amazing, Christy. These boys, and they are smart.
They are miracles.
They truly are. They are these.
Yeah. So Kathryn, what you don't know about me is I was a special ed teacher from 98 to when I left education a few years ago. And when I started teaching, even a kid born at like 34 weeks was in bad shape. So that when I think about the fact that it took you so long to have your boys, but you had them at a time where they could be healthy. Like, I love that. I love You know, I know it wasn't your plan, but it was so his plan. And I'm in awe that you had these babies, twins at 31 weeks. To have one baby at 31 weeks is
From
scary.
2 different eggs.
Like, you had 2 completely different children at 31 weeks at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like, I just want to bawl for you.
Yeah.
You're in the therapy field, but from an educator's perspective, from a special ed perspective, like, y'all, I mean, that's God. That's a miracle.
It is.
It truly is. And you know, they were tiny. I remember when they came for 4th of July, the first time I got to meet them, they had both of their monitors and their long cord, and they were just so, it was just, I was like looking at them thinking, oh my gosh, the journey to here, and here you both are, and you're, you know, just miracle, truly. And then I see them now, and they're 5 now, and they just started kinder in a pandemic, and they are just balls of energy, and I love them. They're hilarious too.
Oh, I wish I had a video camera on them 24. They need their own show.
Yeah. Well, I feel like one is definitely has Kat's personality, and the other just looks like, and I think is John. It's just funny.
The spitting image of John in personality, looks, red hair.
Yes, red hair.
Her
Her husband's
a redheaded baby, and I never got one, so
yes.
now I'm jealous officially.
She has one. John's a redhead.
Yeah. My friends tease me. They look nothing like me. I was just a carrier.
I don't know. One of them does. I mean, I think like his hair is curly like you.
Mm-hmm.
You were just the carrier. She definitely like. When I was with your mom one time with them, but she's like, Kat looks like the nanny. She's like, Kat looks like their nanny.
Awesome.
Because she's dark, Belizean, and they're, you know, very.
And blue, sea blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
One is like blonde, almost strawberry blonde, and then the redhead. Oh my gosh, they're going to be a knockout.
Yes, they're just so sweet. So tell us how it's been, so are they back face to face? I know kindergarten started virtually.
Yeah, it started out virtually, and I was going insane. And then now they're back in person in school.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're in the same class. We asked if they could be in the same class in case there was an outbreak. We didn't want to have to cross contaminate and be like, what do we do with this one? This one's still going to school, because they broke up the classes into different pods.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really nice about that. And then in the beginning, we asked if they could be at the same table. And the teacher was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I said, of course, unless there's behavior problems, because I know them. And she's like, yeah, so I think it was 2 weeks in. I just checked in with her, and she's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna move them. I figure. But they've been doing great.
That's good. And does your mom go and pick them up after school?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So my schedule, I have like a weird schedule. I'm thankful for my bosses that help me do this. I go in for 11 and get off at 7:30. So, which is fine. I like it. And so I get to take them to school, which is nice. And my mom goes with me. And then when we get home, we go for a walk together, which is nice because I get my mommy and me time with her. And then I'll clean up a little bit or make some food, and then go to work. Mm-hmm. And then John does the evening shift.
And what's cool about that, Kathryn, is when it's not like a pandemic, most of kindergarten's programs are in the morning. Usually they're first thing in the morning, or they're, at the end of their school day, but a lot of times they're in the morning. So you'll get to do have the full mommy experience and then go to work.
Oh, that'll be awesome. I didn't think about that. Because
Yeah.
my boss asked me, how long do you want to do this for? And I was like, can we try another 10 months?
That's awesome.
So yes, so that they're just great, and I've loved watching you and John with them. They've just, and then Kat's mom has been there to help them with the boys, and then so I guess so you and John used to go to work together. So I guess now you guys don't get to do that.
No, we don't. So John feels like we don't have any connection time because we would talk on. I don't think we would talk on the way to work. He would work on Camp Janice, and then we would complain about work on the way home.
And have that unloading.
Yeah, so it's taken that time out, but for me as a mom, as a woman, I don't know. I get my me time, my quiet time in the car and on the way to work, and then my coworkers leave at 4:30, so it's just me running around the different units in the evening. So it's quiet. It's a different pace. I like it.
That's cool. I mean, that's nice that you have that flexibility, that you're able to do that.
Yeah, and I miss the evening homework. Chaos time.
Hey.
John gets to wrap it up and put them to bed.
Yeah, but he's more of a routine person.
Yes.
So, and I'm like, whatever time they fall asleep.
You know what?
You want to rock? I'll rock you. I'll rock you. He's like, they don't need to rock. They just are playing you. I'm like, but they're my babies. I'll rock my babies.
So what would you say to the girl who would be listening to this, who is going through infertility right now? Now that you've been there.
That's an interesting question. With this day and age, I feel like, and someone had told this to me too. You don't have to having children does not define who you are as a woman. Yes, it's like a natural thing you would think. But when you factor in society issues and the way the world is, if you don't want that, you don't have to have children to feel fulfilled. If you do want to have children, know that it is not like what you see your friends doing with kids, because when you go out with your kids, you've kind of pulled yourself together to look decent, right? But behind the scenes, it is, at least for me, it's wild. It's chaos. And if you don't mind and you love a lot of noise and being out of control and not knowing what to say to your child, how to discipline your child, it's a deep learning curve, and you never know if you have it right. But somebody who's going through infertility, I don't know, I was told that I didn't have it. I had a low AMH, so I didn't produce a lot of eggs for my age, and I should have do donor eggs. Well, I wrote that doctor a very nasty FU letter. And like, obviously you don't read research and are not up to date on cutting edge infertility practices. So don't let what these doctors tell you limit you. There are specialists. You could do the naturopath way. You could go to Dr. Joachim, do your research, try something different. I mean, I went to this lady, she was like some Mayan medicine lady, and you do like a coochie steam, and it's supposed to help, I think, with blood circulation. And she gave me a little lunch paper bag full of herbs, and
And you
No.
put that in your coochie?
No, you don't. You steam it.
Okay.
I'm like, wait, what? Okay, so you steam it and you ingest the herbs?
No, you steam it like the herbs in the tea. You steam, like you sit on like a chamber pot. I feel like almost you name it, I've tried.
Yeah, you've tried it. I've never heard of that one. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I've done Reiki, acupuncture. There was some other kind of like Mayan massage thing that I had done.
They massaged you?
They massaged me. Not my coach.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard there are massage places that do that. I've not visited one, Kat, but I mean, what? Like, it's your thing.
No. So yeah, so try, not the norm. Try it.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you want, and have support around you, and make sure you know your husband really well and what they'll do, because I know a lot of women who've gone through infertility, had their babies, and then they end up getting divorced like a year later.
Because the stress of it?
Because the stress of it, I don't think either one of them were prepared for it. I had an army around me. I mean, my dad came and spent 3 months. He was the bottle maker and the diaper changer. And he had it all organized. He'd be up at 10 o'clock at night, standing at the counter, mixing formula for all day. So have your support system. I don't know. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, this other thing, like when you have kids, you complain about your kids, but not in a, I didn't want to have you kind of way, like, but you know what I mean, as a mom way. And so sometimes you get some flack from people like, well, you wanted these kids and you had infertility and you asked for these kids. You shouldn't complain. You should be blessed. A friend of mine told me, yeah, I worked hard so that I could complain about my kid. This is the life I wanted.
Yeah.
So I'm living it.
I think, like, for me too, you kind of touched on, I mean, I always wanted to be a mom. Like, before I wanted to be a teacher or a lawyer or, like a occupation, like one of those, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be a mom. And I know for me, I wanted that. And when it wasn't happening, it was just devastating. But now there are those days where I'm like, if, I'm talking to someone who's trying to have a baby, I'm like, I was not prepared at how it can be heartbreaking and devastating being a mother. Like the things like having to see my kid turn 18 and about to just leave. Like, I am not ready for that. Like, all of the emotions that come with being a parent, like it's a lot. And some days I don't know if I, handle that properly or if I take it too seriously. But it is like, it can be sad and depressing also, as much as it is rewarding. And I love being a mother, and I'm glad I've been blessed to be a mother, but there are those days where I'm like, maybe I wasn't getting pregnant for a reason.
I thought the same thing.
Really, really hard. It's so hard.
You know what I will tell people who are struggling is that own it and be honest with your friends and just tell them, you know what, I love you dearly, but I just can't be around right now. I'm just going to take a back seat. Please don't send me any pictures. If I want to see your children, I will ask. But I can't handle conversations about children right now and all their cuteness, because I want that cuteness to be mine. It's hard.
Yeah. And I remember telling people, I finally had to say, I am so happy for you. I really am happy for you. It's just too hard to look at it right now. And because like I said, you totally feel alone and in the moment, when it's coming so easily to everyone else.
And you know what, if you want to give for like baby showers or special occasions like that, maybe enlist the help of a friend and say, hey, if something comes up, here's some money, you know, just tell me how much I owe you, but you go buy the gift and put my name on it.
Yep.
So you can still be a part of it, but you don't have to be in it.
Well, and I think too, you know, what y'all are describing is boundaries, and we don't like to set boundaries because people don't take it well. But what you're doing is you're protecting your peace by saying that. You're not saying I don't love you or I'm not happy for you. You're just saying I can't be there, and that's okay. We don't like to do that as women, but it's totally okay. And I think it's okay, and it's okay as the mother of young kids to be like, I'm not up for dinner tonight. I'm tired.
I'm so tired. You have no idea.
I can't even imagine 2 twin boys tired. That is
they don't sleep. They wake up at 5 a.m. like this. What are we gonna do today? I'm ready to go kill dinosaurs.
They are precious, and it's one of those. I love going to visit them, but when I leave there, I'm like, oh my gosh, my poor friend. My poor friend. You look amazing, by the way.
I say you don't even look tired.
No.
Well, I put eye makeup on.
Like, what time of day do your eyes go, I'm ready?
Never.
Well, I am so crazy happy for you. I'm so happy that John met you because, you know, John is, like I said, he's an amazing person. I just can talk about him forever. But when you came along, I was like, I was so happy for him that he found you. And now with the boys, you guys are an awesome team. And I want to say thank you to you because you have scooped me up too. Like I feel like we hit it off right out of the bat. And I feel like you've always just been Team Brenda. And there were some low points like a couple years ago, and you listened, you let me cry, but then you're like, all right, put your big girl
panties on.
Yep. And, you know, with my business, with anything I say or do, you have always been a cheerleader. And I just really appreciate everything you've done for me and continue to do for me. And even when you haven't heard from me in a little bit, you'll call and just say, hey, I want to, you know, catch up and see how you're doing. And when you ask how I'm doing, I always feel like I can tell you exactly the truth and you'll listen. And I don't know, I just always feel when I hang up the phone with you, I just feel like, I feel better, but I always know that you're thinking about me and you love me, and thank you.
Well, I think you're amazing. And I remember when I first met you, I was like, oh my gosh, she is so beautiful. I just love her. Like when I'm around Brenda, I just feel like there's this warm blanket around me.
Aww.
I love me some Brenda.
Well.
And I think that, you know, that you don't necessarily always see your own potential. And so it's good to have friends who can bring that out in you and kind of help you with your confidence level to be your cheerleader. Because I think you do amazing things. I think you've raised amazing boys. And you're just all over amazing.
Oh, Kat, thank you. And I love also, like, you always have suggestions, like or if you don't know something, you'll find out, or, you know, like she researches.
Clearly.
Yes. She's like, well, she's very, like, come up with these creative things to think about, to do. And then anytime you go to their house, John is an amazing cook. There's great coffee. There's great conversation. There's these little kids climbing all over the place. It's just so much fun. I just love being a part of your family. And I just love you. And so our podcast, which you have supported this podcast, you have listened to our episodes, not all of them maybe, but a lot of them. And you'll always comment. Yes. And so our episodes are the names of songs. And so all day I knew I wanted your song to be a Cher song because Kat loves Cher. And there's three, okay? And I can't decide. It's like, so oh, my phone's ringing. I Got You, Babe, because I always feel like you've got me, you know?
Yeah.
You've got me. So I was like, I got you, babe. She's got me. I got her. Like, I liked that song. And then I was like, Super Trooper from Mamma Mia is another one because you are such a super trooper.
Oh.
Yes, I love that. And then and then Dancing Queen. I'm like, you loved you're dancing and you're just so bright, and I'm just like, which one do I pick? So I think I'm going to go with Dancing Queen. Yes, because I also have these like pictures of you, like you have crowns and you have boas, and we didn't talk about her and her Mardi Gras floats and her,
Yeah. Are you
all that stuff.
What's that?
Are you a Mardi Gras girl?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she belongs to a crew. All those things.
That was going to be my next question. That's awesome.
Yeah. But I was going to tell you about Dancing Queen. Oh, you know how I like to dance on chairs?
Yes.
I'll get up and dance on the table, anything, the bar. Unprompted for Halloween, Owen started dancing. We were playing music. He started dancing. He jumped up on the chair and was like, I was like, oh my God, that's my son.
That is your son. Oh my gosh. So yes, so you are a queen. And so Dancing Queen wins. And it's the Dancing Queen from Mamma Mia where Cher is singing with all of them. And that's the name of your episode. That's the one I pick. I was like,
Aw,
yes.
I love it.
So you're a queen. You're just a ball of energy. And I'm so glad we got to talk. I'm so glad Christy met you. And I believe that someone will hear this and you will enlighten them in their journey to motherhood, because look at you now.
Yes. And I don't have any shame about my infertility. I've had doctors come to me and say, so-and-so told me that you have some information or you don't mind sharing your story. Here's my number. Can you give me a call?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you're using something that has caused so much pain for you to give hope to other people, whether it's hope that they can get pregnant too, or just to not quit trying or to not stop believing, whatever. But I love that you're using something, you could just hold that tight, right? Like it worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing it. So I love that as a woman. So thank you.
And thanks for being in the OT that you are and for helping the vets, especially in this time where that is also another lonely place, a hospital, a VA hospital. Thank God for Kathryn Kertz and the person that you are that is there with them through this. And I know they are having a blast.
Yeah.
I know if you're their patient, they are having a blast. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, well, thanks for doing this, Kat. I just love you. And I know I'll talk to you soon, but I'm glad you got to meet Christy. I'm glad you got to be on the podcast.
Thanks for being awesome.
Yes. Keep being you.
Thank
You're awesome.
you. It was fun. I'm glad I did it.
Okay, yay. I'm so glad you did it.
I have to say, this is a normal bias first because you are the first person to say coochie on a podcast. And it only took 49 episodes.
I totally was thinking that when I was like, oh my gosh, did she say coochie on the podcast?
And I don't think it's explicit. We'll see what Apple says. But I was like, did that girl just say she speaks it? Because I've heard that. Like, I have a friend who went to New York and did that. And I was like, why? Like, I do have to ask, like, well, we're back on the subject. I mean, like, does it make it nice and fresh? Like,
I think it's blood circulation. I don't know the science behind it, but I was willing to put anything up there who's gonna make a baby.
okay, so your homework is one, if he's putting those boys down, you guys go have some quiet time together. And I want you to ask him, I want you to say, honey, remember when I used to, did you notice anything different? I need to know from his perspective.
Okay. I don't even think if he remembered that.
That
You might be surprised.
I'll be so proud of this episode. That's why I love you, because it don't matter. Katz is gonna say it.
So,
Kat.
Kat, let's revisit the 2 books that Brenda's going to read when she's a year out from being ready to find husband number 2. What are the names of the books? Because I know that at some point, some bibliophile will watch this.
Oh, it's what is it? Oh, how to meet and marry your soulmate in 1 year or less. It's out of print, so I think you can only find it on eBay.
Okay. How to meet and marry
your soulmate in 1 year or less.
Okay.
There you go.
What was the next book that you read?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember what I said. I don't remember the title of that one. That was the one that said if they like you, they'll call within 3 days.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Was it that one book called He's Not That Into You? Or something like that?
I don't know. I wonder if I gave all my books to my friend. I'll have to ask her.
Okay, so they'll call you, if you give them their number, they call you in less than 3 days, and they're okay.
And I remember I had it highlighted. I had that whole book highlighted.
Well, if you think of that, you text me, because I'm gonna jump on eBay in just a minute here.
I'm telling you, don't start unless you're ready, Brenda. I mean,
No, I know
it works.
No, it does. Look,
well, you have to define what you want. I mean, do you want another husband? Because I have a friend, she does not want a husband. Mm-hmm. She wants a companion. Somebody you could travel with, go visit, but she wants her own space. He has his own space. At least that's what she says now. Mm-hmm. But, so what do you want?
Do you want to know right now?
No, I'm just asking the universe.
I don't know if I necessarily want a husband. I would like someone to live with or go to dinner with. Like, I think about that, like when the boys are not here on the weekend, like it would be so fun to have someone to sit on the couch with and watch TV or grill or sit outside and drink coffee. Yeah. I don't, yeah.
So you want a boyfriend?
A boyfriend.
Okay.
I think Kat's on it. I think you're going to show up for a happy hour and this guy's going to be there.
That would be so cool if that's the way it happens. Because
you have to say what you want him to look like. Now, I never thought I wanted a redhead but okay, this is hilarious. So I only know a couple of redheads from Belize, and my godfathers it's my godfather. He's a redhead. His brother's a redhead. His son's a redhead. And they all do all kinds of stuff outside and in the sun. So I didn't know about the whole skin thing. Right. John cannot tolerate being in the sun. I mean, he burns like that. And I'm like, what's your problem? Go put on some more sunscreen.
I know. And your poor boys are like that too. They're like covered from head to toe, long sleeves, long pants, hats. I do know what I
look like.
I talk about that at work with my friend Stephanie and the nurse about what I want him to look like. Because I definitely have a type, and I definitely have I vision what the person kind of looks like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it white and nerdy?
Yes, definitely white, definitely nerdy.
I knew it.
And just funny. And
Do you want us to interview him before you even meet him so you don't waste your time? Like, we could be like, you're not going to work out.
Yeah. You guys could definitely be the panel. And like he dresses like really like kind of not hipster, but like cute. Like he went to the Gap and likes to wear a blazer with a hoodie sticking out. Mm-hmm.
Do you have an age range?
So did we do? Okay. Who are we talking? Was it me and you, Christy, where they said what the age could be? It was like half my age plus 7 or something. Who was that?
Yeah, that's from the movie we watched, right? It's from a movie. We just watched it. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So I mean, I guess 35 to 48.
You wouldn't go older than you?
Mm-mm. I wouldn't. I mean, like, unless he was like maybe a year older, 49, but not. I have never liked. I think. Well, Kevin, he was only like what 2 months older than me, but I was like the oldest. And I'm not into older than me. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think 45 is a good age for you.
45.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely could be younger. I'm okay with that, as long as he is okay with me being older.
Well, you could keep up with him. Okay. Well, so I feel like we've gotten our homework. I mean, so
yeah,
order in.
It's out in the universe-ish. I'm open to it. I watch a lot of Law and Order and like murder forensic shows, so I'm really scared of online dating because
me too.
I'm scared of.
It's got to be a reference. John was a reference.
Yes, there has to be.
There has to be some accountability. Like, what were you thinking? Right? Like, there needs to be someone that you can call and be like, you have lost your mind, or good one. But does he have a brother? Because he's, yeah. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely open to it. I am ready to have someone around, a friend.
I wonder if maybe this needs to be like a clip, and we'll make this a short, and it'll be single and ready to mingle. Like maybe we could just pimp you out on air.
It'll be like a commercial.
We can boost it, Kat. That's what we can do. We can boost them on all the platforms.
Oh man!
Call Christy and Kathryn.
You know what? We'll set up a Zoom just like this. We'll let Brenda hide and listen.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so great.
And then we could do a show on that. Like,
there you go. On a very special episode of Normal Bias Podcast.
Yeah, normal bias. Yeah, bias. You gotta be good for my friend.
There's not a lot of normal. Okay, well, I think that maybe we've just figured out what we're doing in 2021.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. I need a date to my son's graduation.
You have one. His name is Matthew.
Oh, his name is Matthew, my little twin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is fun. I love it.
Owen for me. He's gonna.
Yes, of course. And I was thinking that is Owen is the one like you, and of course now we know because he's dancing on stuff.
Yeah.
Which makes
they both, I swear, like when they hug me, like they're trying to get back in the womb.
They just love you so much.
They crawl all over me.
You're going to miss it in about 7 years. I'm just going to warn you now. Like, I don't want to be that old girl, but I'm just going to be that old woman and say in 7 years, you're going to miss it.
All of the tired, all of the diapers, all of the, I can't believe you just colored on the wall. Like all of that, you will miss it. Mm-hmm. It goes by so fast. Don't blink. That sounds so, when I used to hear that, I'd be like, that's just so dumb. Don't blink. Don't blink.
No, I wish I could record everything they say.
Yeah. Take a picture every day.
Mm-hmm.
A little video of a little clip it. Like ask them a question every day. Like, I don't know, something just random.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could talk to y'all all day, but I have to go.
Me too. I love you guys so much. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Hey y'all, are you still watching? Are you still listening?
We're so glad that you're still with us. If you want to connect online, we're at www.normalbiaspodcast.com, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. And our very favorite, if we made you a mixtape, we'd put all those songs on our Spotify playlist for you.
All the things.